very good morning to you. Thank you, as always, for staying with us here on the Skyline News. This is the Morning Call Tuesdays edition. We are in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I'm Uyi Agmofwegbe. My colleague has insisted a while ago that she has to take her destiny in her own hands by, well, introducing herself. Moreno Haniel, so good to see you. I tried to sound as Polish as possible. Hope it worked.
Yes, actually, he keeps calling my name, so I decided I'm going to pronounce my name properly. Moreno Haniel.
One of these days I'll grow up.
It's a beautiful morning. It rained last night, so everyone woke up in a very cool way today. They woke up with universities going on strike again.
Right.
Anyway, it's still a beautiful morning. I think it's something that we're not supposed to get used to, but we're getting used to the fact that universities always go on strike. Little wonder private universities are making it better this time around.
Okay.
Yes, federal universities are always going.
So you're saying private universities are going global?
Yeah.
In terms of smiling to the bank, in terms of astronomical increase in enrollment.
Yes, because they're being widely accepted now.
Right.
So at a point in time, you feel it's cheaper going to private universities than the federal university, because in the long run, you actually spend cheaper. You spend less. Why? Because you spend just the 4 years you're supposed to go.
Right.
But you go to I spent almost 6 years in the university.
Doing a 4-year course?
Yeah, I was doing a 4-year course. So we started calling ourselves, we were in 600 levels, because of the strike. So somehow the federal government should at least tackle this. Education is key. Education is key. It is our right to be educated, and we're paying for it. And I think government should put a hand into it so that the strikes reduce.
I don't think government should put its hands in it. Government's hands are fully in it. In fact, I think government's hands are shoulder deep in it. And I'll say what gives me real concern, right? 10 years ago, you have far fewer private universities in Nigeria. 15 years ago, far less. 20 years ago, just a handful. But by 1999, we got the officially what you now refer to as the premier private university in Nigeria. So when that started, it was not so competitive, right? Yes, you had other private universities, but at that point in time, by 1999, they had not been licensed by the NUC. So by 1999, the NUC had officially licensed the first private university in the country. And since that time, 27 years down the line, off the top of my head, I can't brag that I remember clearly the number of private universities we have in this country today.
Yes,
but what I don't know is at every turn, you see there's a new private university. You're wondering, could this be illegal? Could it just be some sort of pedestrian, roadside, sort of arrangement? But the next thing you know is you go to NUC official websites. They are there. They are duly licensed to operate. Now, I'm not going to go into the rigors of the detail of whether or not they meet the minimum requirements. Of course, once NUC says, gives you the green light, who am I to say you are not eligible, all right, or sound enough to operate? But my real concern is in 2026, 26 years into a new millennium, what should be our definition of education? These are the fundamentals, really, right? What should be the minimum standards in terms of international best practice? How can the guy who completes a 4-year, a 5-year, or a 6-year university education in Nigeria, in any part of the country, whether public or private university, compete with the guy in Beijing, China, the guy in Frankfurt, Germany, the guy in London, UK, the guy in New York, US? Just name them. Because ultimately, that's where the competition is. The competition is not between the guy who finishes from Usman Danfodio in Sokoto and the guy who finishes from the University of Benin in Benin City. It's gone beyond that now. It's now between you and your, if you like, contemporaries, yes, from other part of the world, whether they're from Asia, from the Middle East, from Europe, or anywhere from America. Now, that said, in 2009 in this country, the federal government, then under the, if you like, the administration of now late former President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, blessed memory. Of course, at that point in time, there was a series of strikes. One of the things the government and the leadership of the Academic Staff Union of Universities also had done was to say, look, we've got to find a way to resolve these issues. We can't just keep going on strike, which ultimately will not solve the problem. And you can't also keep making promises that are vague, that you're not ready to keep. So how do we find closure once and for all? They reached an agreement, a set of terms came into that agreement. And part of it was that, look, every year, the federal government will remit 200 billion. I mean, several items in that agreement. But one of them that stood out real significantly was, on an annual basis, the federal government will make available, in terms of funding, 200 billion to the university, the public university system in this country. This was the federal government and ASU dialoguing. And then they had several other things they agreed on. It was an MOU. And that's the reason you realize that every time ASU is issuing a warning, a strike warning, or informing the government and the public that, look, there's an imminent industrial action, or they even go into full-fledged strike, they all reference the 2009 agreement. And then, of course, you would have successive governments. Of course, by 2015, former President Goodluck Jonathan had cycled out the terms that Nigerians gave him and his late principal, Umar Musa Yar'Adua. However, by 2015, the former president, now deceased, Muhammadu Buhari, came into office, and you started hearing things like, well, we're not the ones that reached that agreement with you. It was the government before this. That government was not responsible. That government was not futuristic. Now we don't even have the money to pay. That government went into an agreement it doesn't understand, blah, blah. There were excuses everywhere. I still remember clearly how individuals like Lai Mohammed, for example, who was Minister of Information and Orientation in that government, would come and talk plenty and explain and try to give context and perspectives and do damage control. Then later it would be Dr. Chris Ngige, who was at the time Minister of Labor. All right. So we had all of that drama going on, and it was just uninspiring to see. But people have said, let's be fair for a second. In the last 3 years, it will appear, since 1999, that the government of President Bola Tinubu has done far more than his predecessors in terms of saying, look, let's be more altruistic. Let's be more realistic with ourselves. Let's be honest in terms of the issues we're dealing with. And they even say that it is only in this government of Tinubu that you see the president himself meeting one-to-one with the leadership of ASU. Before now, it will be the Minister of Labor 1 minute, the next minute it will be, yes, and later is, well, maybe Minister of Finance, joining Minister of Education, and all of that. At the point, it became so embarrassing in this country that a former Minister of Education, Adamu, said one thing. Ngige, another minister in the same government, said a different thing altogether on behalf of the same government. At that point, I said, hold on a second, let's shut down and reset. Maybe that will help deal with what we are grappling with at this point in time. But on the final note, when you look at the whole issue, I think what we are learning is that we have shown very clearly as a country that we're just acting up. We're not serious about education. We're not investing in education. And to even think that what we are talking about now is just the conventional classroom style of teaching, whereas our friends in other parts of the world are talking STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. They are now saying, how do we project for the next 50 years? How do we use science to drive environment, drive climate, drive technology, drive tech, drive finance, drive health? You are now shooting blood with drones and all of that. You're rethinking the whole concept of education. But here we're still saying, no, ASU will not go on strike. No, ASU will go on strike. Today we are talking about, ASU is even saying there's a huge number of professors and senior lecturers who have resigned from Nigerian university system in the last 1 year or so. So when you look at all of that, you're asking, why will private universities not thrive? And there's also the theory that, look, these private universities are thriving because those who have, over time, one way or another, destroyed the public university system are the ones who own or are invested in the private universities. What can I tell you?
Everything going in the federal universities is just more theory. You see people graduate from engineering and they don't know how to put naked wire to positive wire, and it's so very, very embarrassing.
Right.
Funny enough, when we travel abroad, majority of people that travel, excel so well. So there were questions that said for every year, amongst those of them that come out with first class, Nigerians are the majority. So when they are being asked, they said, you're in a country where there's no electricity, no good roads, you have to suffer before you get to classes, and you're able to make a good result. So now you're now in a country where everything is provided for you. You don't have any excuse not to pass.
Right.
So we excel well when we travel out, but we're here. There is always this a lecturer is after you because you said this, you said that, so that's the thing. Why don't we excel here? We excel over there. So do we all park ourselves over there? And why can't the government just change things for Nigerian students, at least for a change? Well,
it's a loaded conversation, and it's quite disturbing how that at this point in time it looks like we're not ready to have that conversation. But then here on the morning call is the reason we bring you this program every other morning. And the course of interaction today, we'll be looking at again what we are learning from Osun towards 2027, whether it's from INEC, the voting public, and of course, the government of the day, what they call federal might, and so on and so forth. We're going to draw lessons from that with our guests while we interact this morning. Plus, we're now hearing that there's some hula balu around whether or not foreign observers from the European Union will be on the ground to monitor the 2027 general election. We'll talk to you about all of that, and then of course we have sports right up ahead for you. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll turn to Nigerian newspapers and look at big headlines for you. Don't go away.
Watch Skyline News on MyComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Skyline News on Nycomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nycomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Oh, thank you so very much for staying with us. Let's turn to the papers at this point in time. First port of call is the Punch newspaper this morning. Top left corner first, it says WAEC under fire over 2026 results, alleged grading anomalies. This is getting a bit more complicated. When these results were released, the first thing we heard was that, there was a very sort of abysmal performance in certain subjects, math, English, but now it looks like tables have turned. WAEC is now on the defensive, right? Pension arrears, ex-soldiers set to protest at Defense Ministry on page 30. Hopefully it doesn't turn out to be yet another show of shame. Terrorists kill 28 in Sokoto community, Army GOC visits. Again, that story is found on page 30 of today's issue of the Punch newspaper. Let's also take a look at the one adjacent the nameplate here. Buhari Estate row, Amosun hits back at Abiodun on page 29. That's a case of one governor versus an immediate past governor. The big one, insecurity. 31 states spent 252 billion naira on security in 6 months. What is the context? Well, we'll turn to the riders. 22 state security bill jumps by 90% as governors tackle Insecurity spending covers security equipment, personnel, security votes, others. Experts seek tech deployments. We're still foot dragging in that regard. Very sad. Kogi Plateau, Bauchi spends only 32% of security budget in 6 months. Why is that the case with these 3 states? Is it because releases didn't come through, or someone just decided somewhere for reasons best known to them that this was what they were going to do? 32% is abysmal. It's pathetically poor. All right. But here's something here that's very concerning. How do we match the spending? Because that's the operative word, with what is on the ground. So if a governor says, for example, we're spending 90% on equipment, on blah, 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 how does it rub off? How do we value? How do we measure? Is it concrete? Is it something that can be appreciated? Is it tangible? Well, you can find out when you read up on page 2 of the Punch newspaper today. Over here, it says NDLEA destroys 301 billion naira drugs, arrests 10 in Edo. That's a whole lot. That's becoming real quick, a very strong sector, so to speak. A teacher crisis. 32 million Nigerian pupils share 592,077 teachers. Talk about very crazy ratio. All right. But it's on page 29 that you can read up those details. Oniru Estate, 2-month blockade leaves Lagos residents stranded. All right. Osun local government crisis. Policeman injured as Adeleke chairman sees secretariat. That issue has been a long time coming. It precedes the election of this last weekend, but the governor has been very clear to say that, look, the right thing must be done, must allow those who have the authority, the bona fide chairman, to take charge of these local governments. And then, of course, there has also been the issue of non-release of funds to these local governments. But these are all the headlines from the Punch newspaper today. You will do yourself a lot of favor by looking at details. We turn next to the Daily Trust newspaper.
Okay. Under there, the first one says over 200 lecturers resigned from Kaduna University.
Just one university.
Just one university, over 200 lecturers. You can imagine how many are left.
Right.
200 have resigned. Why? You can read more of that on page 7. Now, in the middle there, say campaign councils consultations intensify as INEC leave ban tomorrow. Now, if you find more of that for political analysts and political lovers, go there, page 11. Nikon recapitalization fees raise dust. Now, you can find more of that on page. They have been on that recapitalization thing for about 2 weeks now. So we find more of that in page 12 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Food prices rise as inflation slows. Wow, everyone is feeling it in the country. Food prices are actually rising high. Well, economic analysts tell us that inflation is slowing. So you read more of that to understand the economy, pages 5 and 6 of the Daily Trust. Now down here it said, flooded Abuja mansions raise questions over green areas. There has been a lot of flood due to the raining, continuous rain in Abuja and other parts of the country too. So, and people are raising concerns. Osun Adeleke supporters move to take over council secretariat. Okay, you find more of that on page 10. NDLEA destroys 301 billion naira drugs in Lagos. So sad. You find that in page 17. 23-year-old hacks mother to death. What could be as a result? What could have led to that?
So they say wonders shall never end, right?
It shall never end.
So sad.
You know. So you find more of that in page 7 of the Daily Trust. It seems Daily Trust has a lot of sad stories this morning, so you can read more of that.
All right. Next port of call this morning, everyone, is the Vanguard newspaper, which looks substantially loaded with headlines this morning. Food inflation rate rises 5th consecutive month to 20.31%. Again, that's a very significant double digits inflation number there. IBB, IGP, Ike Wanchuku, Oshoba, Obaigbena, others for Vanguard at 40 book launch tomorrow. 85th birthday. No leader has impacted Nigeria as Babangida. No less a person is saying that about the former military head of state than President Bola Tinubu. All right, those details are on page 9 as well. 2027, your vote will count. INEC assures Nigerians. INEC now has some energy to shout, all right, on account of what has taken place just 3 days ago in Osun State. But Nigerians should also use this as a basis to hold the commission to account. How 24 firms control over 70% of Nigeria's stock market. 9 banks, 5 consumer goods, 3 industrial goods firms. Top lists on page 10. Osun poll, APC claims internal wrangling caused defeat. That was on page 23. But the question is, what will the ruling APC do with that information? We saw many leaders of the party coming on social media to talk about those issues. We saw, for example, the national youth leader of the party, Israel Dayo, talking about some of those issues, where he also mentioned very clearly that Governor Ademola Adeleke has been able to connect with his people through dancing. That's essentially the APC underrated him. They misunderstood that dancing is his own way of connecting with his people. The APC campaign team focused much more on, well, bridges and roads and all of those issues around, what they wanted to do or thought they could do. But then again, the governor probably had connected so strongly with his people that there was no way the APC or any other opposition party for that matter was going to win. All right, so you can read all those details on page 23. Bottom left, Army draws battle line with Lakurawa terrorists on page 43. Xenophobia, federal government to evacuate 83 Nigerians from South Africa. Tomorrow, that will be yet another tranche of Nigerians being brought back from that country into their homeland. MBF, that's the Middle Belt Forum, rejects forcible land allocation for cattle ranching in the Middle Belt. Of course, this issue has been here for quite a long time. The debate around whether or not ranching should happen, what should be the modality for allocating lands for that purpose. ASU threatens indefinite strike as 200 Kaduna varsity lecturers resign. So how do we plug that gap? Because you can't lose 200 lecturers, even within a 10-year period, for example, and pretend everything is okay. So this, the authorities will have to answer what happens going forward, especially the state's government. Those are all the headlines we're bringing for you this morning from the Vanguard newspaper. As always, it's in your best interest to read up details. Let's see what we have next this morning. Let's see, I'm sure we've done the Daily Times Trust. It should be the Nigerian Tribune that we're going to next.
All right, Nigerian Tribune at the top right there. Nigeria's inflation drops to 15.43%. Food prices remain high on month. Underlying prices pressures beginning to weaken, says analysts. We're trying to balance that. Inflation is going down and prices are going up. So you read more on that.
Quite an irony.
We don't understand that. If you don't understand that, you can go to the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune, and get that in page 7. Next says EU approved £1.5 million emergency aid for Nigeria's cholera response. Well, we heard the cholera is going big now, so it's a good thing the EU is doing. Read more of that in page 26, which states are included. Now, next we see NDLEA destroy 301 billion naira worth of cocaine, heroin, opioids, others in Lagos. These are drugs that really go a long way to destroy our young ones now. So it's good that they do that. But 301 billion worth, that is a lot. That is a lot.
I'll tell you what really leaves me feeling astonished most times about all of these discoveries that the NDLEA is doing. Amazing work, by the way. Is when the NDLEA tells you by their own assessment, this is street value. In other words, if they were to look at it from the standpoint of what the real value is, that's the point, it's a lot more. So it's another reason for us to be very bothered about these issues. So the war against illicit drugs is beyond the NDLEA. It has become, like the chairman of the agency said, a generational war.
It's a generational war. And they are doing a really good job. You know, the drugs have taken over now. It's crazy. Now the major headline here says, UK raises concerns over vote buying. NBA warns of Beavers challenges ahead of 2027. Talking about the election. So no ghost hired voters in Osun election, INEC insists. Adeleke campaign council moves to document victims of violence. Then the third one says police warn against forceful takeover of local government secretariats. Now I read more of that in page 3 and page 25 in the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And then down there it says EFCC probes undeclared $73,000 and £15,957 intercepted at Kano Airport. Still carrying cash at this time.
Obviously, that's contraband, right?
Yes, that is that much of fund is actually contraband.
Right.
Now, find more of that in page 26. Now, down there it says customs hand over 399 seized rifles to office of NAC. Seized from who? Now, you read more of that in page 25. Now, down there we're talking about health. Sperm count falls as body fat rises, says study.
I think men should pay attention, particular attention to this study.
Yes, sperm count.
On page 3.
Yeah, you read more of that on page 3 concerning your health.
Right.
Now, down there said 22 killed as bandits attack Sokoto community. A few days ago, we heard that the military were at the edges of that community to make sure that that the bandits don't come in. So eventually, it seems they have come in through other communities and have killed 22. So you can read more of that in page 28. Lastly, it says, Edo Assembly in fresh leadership crisis as speakers resign, 2 others removed. That started since yesterday and it's continuing now. So you read more of that on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. I think that is all we have in the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Next, we have the Guardian.
All right,
newspaper.
So let's get guarded this morning, everyone. 3 headlines just immediately underneath the name mast. Well, the first one, top left, with a picture of President Tinubu. It says federal government targets 6,000. Yes, again, let that sink in. 6,000 willing capacity before December. I will not have these targets time and again. Oyedele seeks stronger fiscal federalism, task states on economic diversification. What model should they adopt, really? These states don't seem to be interested in this sort of conversation just yet. But let's move on. Osun poll raises 2027 questions as APC reviews defeats. Observers flag flaws on page 6. Concerns as cost of living pressure lingers despite easing inflation. And well, what you have next here is an advertorial, but these are just these scanty headlines on the Guardian newspaper this morning. I'm sure we can take 2 more headlines for you. This time, I'm sure it will be, well, let's see what we have next. We have This Day newspaper, and Moreno will take us through those headlines.
Okay, it says Nikonde and Ness all respond to malicious despicable report on alleged $60 million EFCC recovery. We'll tackle that out with EFCC. EFCC is always right, though it has proved to us some few weeks back. Is it as independent as it is now? We don't like.
So you said there's a question mark.
There's always a question mark. It has a few writers there, so you can go on and read more of it in page 8 of the This Day newspaper. Down under This Day, it says, inflation moderates to 15.43% despite surge in food prices. It's been replicated. Now, said, but it has one writer who said severe in Adamawa, Yobe, Anambra, and others. Now, down major headline here says UK chairs Adeleke flags beavers vote buying accessibility issues in Osun poll. This has also been repeated. So you can read more.
Hopefully, INEC is paying attention to these issues raised already by the UK now.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously, it is. The beavers had a few problems here and there. So you read more of that story. It has a few riders, about 5 riders. You read more of that in page 8 of This Day newspaper. Very scanty too, like the other one. Next, we have the Nation newspaper.
All right, let's take a look at the Nation, which will be our penultimate on this segment of the program. Here it says inflation declines, food prices fall further. All right, big one, ADC, NDC, APC, NDC, ADC, others get INEC's nod for campaigns. That will officially be flagged off tomorrow, the 19th of August. The writer tells us Tinubu, Obi, Atiku free to canvass for votes. Parties not ready for marathon stump. Well, that's at the discretion of the parties now, isn't it? Here it says Osun workers hold victory rally for Adeleke. Wow, that's a post-election victory. While Edo Speaker Agbebaku was forced to quit. So again, he was forced to quit.
He said he resigned and now he's forced to quit.
You can be forced to resign since you don't want to do it voluntarily. Insurance recapitalization yields 810 billion naira for sector. Government warns against health sector corruption. That's on page 6. Look up these few headlines, details of them on the Nation newspaper today. I'm sure we have the last one this morning for you, which I'm sure, okay, that's the Daily Sun newspaper.
Yeah, the Daily Sun. Just beside the name there, it says, no struggling to pay salaries again, says Finance Minister Oyedele. We hope so. We hope so. Seems they've been doing a lot of improvement in payment of...
But you know, the president and indeed the federal government have been very clear to say that, look, since we suspended fuel subsidy payments 3 years ago, we now have much more money going into the subnationals, whether it's the state or the local governments. Therefore, governors do not have any reason to complain. But we're still hearing that in most of these states, the governors are holding very tightly or firmly to the funds that are supposed to be pushed further down to the local governments, and that's disturbing.
We've heard some people call to say in some states, they said they have been promoted since 8 years ago and they're still collecting salaries of 8 years ago.
So the new salary structure has not reflected.
Yes. And anyway, we hope so.
What I ordered versus what I got, right?
You know, that kind of a thing. Now, again, UK, major headline, UK identified vote buying beavers lapses, hails Adeleke. Two writers here says, Osun poll offers lessons ahead of 2027. APC chieftain to Tinubu, reconnect with Nigerians or forget second term. That's harsh. Page 6 is truthful and harsh at the same time. Now, down there it says, claims, counterclaims, trail Edo Assembly Speaker's exits. Well, you can read more of that on page 8. And we'll continue to dismantle drug cartels, financial spine, Marwa vows. Yes, NDLEA, we give a thumbs up. You're doing a great job here. Fresh batch of Nigerians from South Africa, sponsored by private individual, arrive tomorrow. Kudos, you know, someone says Nigerians are very good people.
Right. They look out for each other.
Yes, you know, because what the xenophobia is really taking a toll. Restructuring now national survival strategy concerns citizens laments. Restructuring, calling for restructuring, strategy. So that is all we have in the Daily Sun.
Incidentally, that will be marks the end of the paper headlines for you today. Beyond just, looking at the headlines, you've got to dig deeper into the details, and that's why it's called news. This is all we have on this segment. Remember that Skyline News has no contribution to these papers, whether the headlines or the details. We just bring you the headlines from the front page, exactly the way the respective publishers have published them. We'll take a break. Up next is Sports Update.
Watch Skyline News on MyComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on NightComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on MyComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on NightComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on MyComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Kickoff on Skyline TV. Today we discuss about the breaking NSC news about the Normalization Committee, where the NSC dissolves the NFF election process. Equally, we talk about the NFF sacking the Falcon coach and the technical team. With me is Austin, my co-host.
Good morning,
Mr. Austin.
Good morning.
Yesterday was a shocker.
Yeah.
The Sports Commission has cancelled the electoral process of NFF.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it was a shocking yesterday. Being Monday, NFC, National Sport Commission, did their own, and then NFF did their own also. NFF sacking the technical crew of the Super Falcons, sacking Coach Justin and his crew. They did it yesterday, and to be honest with you, NFF, they are not being fair. They are not fair. 2024, Justin and his crew brought that cup, the same WAFCON Cup to Nigeria, and it was celebrated, Then because he did not qualify for the World Cup, he was sacked. Not just sacked, he was sacked with immediate effect. NFF, they are not just being fair. That's just it, they are not being fair.
Did you saw it coming?
Yes, I saw it coming after quarterfinals, a match. No, yes, quarterfinal. That was when I told somebody, I said they are going to sack Justin, and it happened. I saw it coming because I know Nigeria is going to sack. Nigeria are going to protest that they should sack him, not the NFF, but Nigerians. Nigeria. There's one thing with Nigerians: if you are doing well, you should be doing well. You don't have to come second. If you are first, you don't have to come. But there's first, second, third, fourth, and there's first 10 in the sport. There's first 10 in everything. So they just want Nigerian first. I told somebody, I said they are going to sack him, and yeah, it is. He's been sacked with immediate effect.
During the conference that he had after the quarterfinals, he made mention of that he's not afraid of anything happening. Did you think he saw it coming?
Yes. He knew that they are going to sack him. That's Nigeria for you. He knew that they are going to sack him. That was why he said it earlier, before yesterday. He said it earlier. He said, I am not afraid of sacking. I'm not afraid of anything. Anything can happen. And yesterday, it came to pass. He was sacked with immediate effect with his crew. And then...
Let's go back to the NSC Commission. The Commission stopped the NFF election to be holding September 27.
Yes, it was the presidency that called off that election. You know, it was slated in September 27 in Lafia, Nasarawa State, you know, to normalize the agency, the sport agency, the federation, not just football. It's National Sports Commission. You know, they want to do this so that to normalize the sports condition in Nigeria. And then it was stopped by the presidency.
Do you think it's only the Football Federation that needs reshufflement, or other federations also need that?
Amisu, I'm going to tell you this. It's not just the sport. It's the federation. That was why it was National Sport Commission, you know, to normalize the federation. Every federation need to be changed. Every federation need to be looked out in, not just the football aspect, not just the soccer aspect, but every federation. And now they've cancelled it, you know, because NFF sacked Coach Justin and his crew member. That was why National Sport Commission had to stop it. It was yesterday. It came out yesterday. Both the NFF sacking the crew member for the WAFCON and also the National Sport Commission suspending it. It all came yesterday. So I think there's something that I really want to be look out for. You know, they want to normalize some things. That was why he was sacked. That was why the election was suspended.
Well, let's not dive into it. Thank you to our viewers. With this, we'll come to the end of a kickoff on the morning show. Let's link you all back to the Good Morning Show with Mr. Uyi Abafemabui.
You can watch Sky News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on MyComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Let's get talking, everyone. 2027 is just ahead of us. We understand that by tomorrow, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, would have flagged off officially campaigns for political parties and all the actors in light of the next round of general elections. What will change this time? Is it the narrative? Is it the rhetoric? Is it the manifestos of these different political parties, especially now that the opposition says generally its goal is to ensure that President Bola Tinubu does not return to Aso Rock for a second term in office in 2027. However, what lessons do we also draw from the election that just took place in Osun this past weekend, as it has to do with the next big one, which is in front of us? On the one hand, many people say, let's be fair, INEC has done amazingly well this time compared to the last few outings, especially in places like Edo and Ekiti. Does that have any implication for 2027? What specifically and in what particular ways will it shape the next big round of polls in our dear country, Nigeria? This morning, I'm joined by a man who has one leg in civil society and the other in mainstream politics, Honorable Destiny in Abule, the former council chairman, and of course, here he is to talk about all of these issues. Very good morning, and it's a pleasure to have you on the program again.
Thank you for having me, and good morning, viewers at home. What amazed me this morning.
Right.
I have my one leg in society.
One in politics, yes. For some of us, we are only now we know that both legs are in two different places, but we're now concerned as to at what point will one leg join the other, or is this going to perpetually remain the way it is? We're not so sure.
No, it's not going to perpetually remain where it is, because whether you like it or not, man by nature is a political animal.
Of course.
You cannot say you are not participating in the process that determines your tomorrow, your destiny.
Right.
So for you not to participate, you are invariably mortgaging your future, thereby allowing, with utmost humility, charlatan to preside over. And you continuously complaining. So it's better all of us participate. Be a participant. So therefore, the more the merrier.
Right.
So what has put us in this conundrum, if you cast your mind back at the very beginning of this democracy, was that our professors, our PhD holders, our industrialists, those that have something upstairs, they thought that the military wasn't going to hand over. Again, it happens in 1992 or thereabout. They did not. But then they see those that according to all of my English teacher in the secondary school, they never do well. They occupy the space. For you not to exit them is likened to, passing WAEC without having D7.
Okay, well, yeah, I know where that sarcasm is heading, but let's stop it before it starts at all. So I want us to talk about Osun State, because incidentally, just a few days ago, you were also on this platform. We had pre-election sort of analysis. Now it's 3 days after the polls. Of course, we know what the results are saying, all thanks to INEC. What are your thoughts at this point in time compared to what your opinions were before the election?
You see, my opinion still remains the same. You know me, I'm a realist. I'm, not very comfortable when I hear people giving flowers to INEC.
But they didn't buy those flowers with your money, did they?
I said I'm not comfortable when people, the likes of you.
So you think they don't? No,
they don't deserve.
I was referencing public opinion.
I have listened.
Not my position.
I have listened to some commentators. I think they have allowed themselves to be bamboozled by this wish cream put up by INEC. I must be very frank. You may mention in your intro, you made mention of the show of shame that happened in Edo, that be coordinated by.
But these are not my words. I just said there were elections in Edo and Ekiti. So is it your opinion that it was a show of shame? Maybe that's a discussion for another time.
You are a suspect this morning. But I'll allow that. I understand your fear. So I'll allow that. You see, the point is this, which is very clear. The issue that happened in Edo, if you cast your mind back, and the election proper, and in comparison with that of what happened in Osun, put together from the last account, it's about, if I'm not mistaken, approximately about 40 persons lost their lives. Would you say that was a free and fair election?
So you were looking forward to an exercise where there would be no incidences?
Seamlessly.
So
I was in United Kingdom in their last local council election. Myself and my in-law, we drove to a certain school to pick the child, and there was an election ongoing. You just see it. These are supposed to be our colonial master, which ordinarily that ought to be a topic for another day. There's a saying in my very rich Benin language, and you are one that no man is a man that teach you how to sing, that invariably you definitely sing like that person. But oftentimes I get to look at what is happening across the length and breadth of this country, the structure, a resemblance. We are not in any way a resemblance to the United Kingdom. We are in any way, both in structure, both the way our Scandinavian nature. We are not conservative. We are too loud. We are bogus. We want to. I don't know. We are trying to whether to mimic or to tailor our system that of United States of America. But let's look at it again. The United States of America, they run the presidential system of government. Can you and I say, to be very frank, without you trying to be journalistic this morning,
But I'm a journalist.
I understand, but that's a topic for another day. That our in terms of our governance structure, is there any resemblance to that of presidential system? It's not even.
We can debate that all night.
We can't.
But is a presidential system, whether or not it is as effective as it ought to be, is now a subject.
It's not the presidential system. There are rules and regulations related to presidential system, where every segment account and do pay tithe and offering, and the center is being saddled with the responsibility of foreign policies and territorial, security. About a year ago, I engaged a professor of governance from the University of Benin. He told me, he said, Destiny, Honorable, even me, I'm confused. I don't know, because your father do not have a hand in his death. So what I create, or rather what I build, I hardly go against it. That is my principle in life. No matter how dirty, no matter how, if you recall, your present deputy governor, who is my cousin, we grew up together. Even when he decided to, when he removed me with the help of the Badgers from the House of Assembly after spending 6 months. I did not, even when person says I should do a petition. I only do it by my approach, my lawyer. For me personally to do a petition, I did not personally. But some organizations, NGO, because I have that background, they were touched and they did the petitions and all of that. But as a person, I did not, because that line still rings. I'm very. It's my guiding principles. I'm very careful when I don't attack what I want to
take you back to Osun.
Yes.
If you look at the election, yes, I know you have your concerns about INEC and the conduct of this election and the previous ones. On a scale of 10, how do you rank Osun State's governorship election?
On a scale of 10?
10, right.
2.
Okay, that sounds like an abysmal failure.
To me, it is an abysmal failure because I didn't start with all of that. You see, when a father, and whether it was this platform I said it, a father and a supposed leader says that election is not served a la carte. You must grab it and you must run with it. That is detrimental, and it is demarketing a nation before the international community. Again, when a supposed leader and a father says that all is fair in politics, again, got to show the desperation and the despicable manner that they are out to grab power by force, hook, line, and sinker. So for me, with these two, for me, I find it difficult to give them until otherwise.
Did you have the inkling that Adeleke would emerge the winner in this election?
Seriously, I must be very frank.
So you were
I was very optimistic that he will win, but I was afraid of the federal might. Having been a participant of the Edo 2024 election. So, whether I don't know whether it's this platform again, I said what President Tinubu and his co-travelers cannot do in terms of politics and politicking does not exist. Well, I don't know whether it was this platform.
But again, we're hearing now from Grapevine that the president was aloof, he was neutral in this process. Do you share that position?
I wrote an article a few days ago that you must exonerate the president, but the presidency is culpable.
What's the difference? The person and the office?
So I leave you to cross the T's and dot the I's. I leave it at that. I will send you the article so you go to maybe be able to on your own pass your own judgment. I will leave it at that. I will comment further. You see, what has happened, let us be very frank with ourselves. You see, when the people resolved that this is where we are going, and I must this morning give all my flowers to the Osun people for their resilience, for their dexterity, and above all, for their doggedness. You see, the state that if not because I would have said, okay, I'm not an indigene of Osun. Because that it's like they've been my
I'm sure there's a process for doing that.
You
want to talk to your lawyers about it?
I would definitely do that. It's like they have been my students. Perhaps they have been following my outing. I have always advocated that as 2027 draws near, and as we all go out to gym every week, we must set aside 1 hour to practice madness in preparation for 2027. Once that is achieved, you can discard the madness. The madness is it's not going to take us to a psychiatric home. It's for a purpose. Once that is achieved, because oftentimes we are always fervent about the destination, not knowing that there's a journey that will take us to that destination. Osun people, they have displayed that indeed they were very conscious of the journey, and the focus was the destination.
I want to ask you something about Osun
Yes.
still. It's virtually 2-year interval between Edo last election and the one of Osun that just concluded a few days ago. Incidentally, in Edo, APC won. In Osun, Accord won. What do you attribute this dynamic to? Is it because, to use your words, Osun people are particularly resilient and Edo people are not, or Osun people are more electorally informed than the people in Edo? Because again, it appears this is more about the people than any other factor.
You see, what I have deduced from this whole thing, you know, the Osun, they are more rural. You saw the electoral participation. So I think the voting strength of Osun is about 2 million plus or thereabout, or like that of Edo.
All right.
But you saw the turnout. It was quite encouraging. Very, very.
So
very
Edo people have a lot to learn from Osun.
and not only that, they all came out with some very reasonable numbers. They followed through. I had a video where the people policed, guide their vote to the collating center, from their ward to local government collating center. They followed through. So for me, that is rare. For me, that is unprecedented. And again, it is a red flag to the umpires. I'm going to be very frank. It's a red flag.
INEC now.
Yes. You see, when trust is lost, the people now take, the bull by the horn to do the extraordinary, to make sure that they protect what they believe in. That's exactly what happened in Australia.
But is it fair that you will be railing against INEC this much, given that, you just talked about when trust is lost, but there's also a process, we understand, for rebuilding trust. Does it not occur to you that this is probably INEC beginning that process to say, look, we've got to rebuild trust with the people? Perhaps Osun is a wonderful opportunity to start that process.
I said something, Justin. I said, until I have been convinced beyond reasonable doubt. You see, I don't, I have a problem. My wife said I have a problem. I'm too realistic. I have a problem that I'm not fit to be in politics. And I told her that, look, yes, but I have looked at it. You can't just leave the stage when I know that they will decide my tomorrow and the future of my children. Then there's a fundamental problem. And when my children grown up, they're going to ask me, Daddy, why did you just leave it and why did you not participate? It is good that what we are doing now, years to come, my children will just do Google. They will see it. They'll say, my dad indeed contributed. And is that just, it's likened to that in the legislation, in democracy, you see, there's a saying that minority will have their say, majority will have their way. So it's usually like that. They say, yeah, they'll definitely, when the time comes, they will give me my flowers. So for me, have you asked yourself, from the records, there were some certain result sheets that were missing. At the point of the collation, if you looked at, I followed it up. At the point, the server was shut down. At the point, and I asked a question with the platform that will belong, that they should help me confirm whether it was shut down. And they said it was they went on break. So even at that, if you look at the process so far, and many have written, articles, essays, that one of the principalities and powers formed against Nigerian progressing is the INEC, and the other one is judiciary. It's too early in the day to begin to give them that. So that's my fear. It's too early in the day. So this might just be a kind of a small screen to baboozle Nigerians, to deceive Nigerians for 2027. See what these men that are running Nigerians in Aso Rock. What they cannot do does not exist.
Somebody watching now, especially those who have followed your engagement on television,
Yes.
of course, public discourse for a while, will say, hold on a second. Honorable Nabolele is just talking because his favorite party is not in power. And I'll give you an example. Last I checked, unless something has changed in between, you were, at least in principle, a member of the ADC, or at least a supporter of the ADC.
No.
You are a fan of Atiku Abubakar, the former president.
No, I've never been a fan.
Unless that again.
No.
But I also know you were a member of the PDP at the point.
No, let me-
you have led the PDP.
No,
at
let me
the
tell you.
So
No.
for the records,
No,
where
let
are
me
you?
get
For
the
the
record.
records.
Yes, for the records.
Yeah.
I'm not the I'm still a member of the People's Democratic Party,
Which of the factions?
the national chairman's faction.
Who is the national chairman of it?
You and I know. You and I know. Turaki-led faction. Let me put it that way.
And that's what gets dramatic.
You see, I understand. Perhaps you must have seen me in ADC convention where they had their convention.
Right.
There was one of my associate firm that Oseaneni, you know him very well. We managed Ayatudin's campaign. So our firm, in collaboration, managed Ayatudin and happens to be a member. So we managed his campaign during the primaries.
For the ticket.
Yeah, for the ticket. So that's why perhaps you must have seen me in one or two. So I'm not as if, you see, for me, I am not a fan of Atiku. It's very obvious. You ask me why. You see, I can't trust a man whose words cannot vouch for their father. That is the gospel truth.
Is it because he has been in and out of the PDP?
Not because he has been. I said whose words, whose children cannot vouch for their father, whose children cannot stick their neck for their father.
How is that?
You see, you know why the only respect or kind of love I have for Tinubu is because of Sheyi, the son. I must be very frank with you. I love Sheyi. Not as a friend. I love him for what he's doing for the father. He's going all out for the father. If my father was to be alive and he's going for ordinary local government chairman, I would do same. You knew what I did for my cousin. I same. If I believe in a process, in a movement, I stick my neck. That is me for you. You knew what happened during our very respected Aswe Lime. I was neck deep from the very betting of that movement till Supreme Court. Even 2 days ago, 3 days ago, we spoke. So for me, that is me for you. That's why the only I have for Tinubu is because of Sheyi, with utmost humility. So for Atiku, that's why I said I have my reservation. And the only love again, why I decided to, for the last a month or 2 months, I've written quite about 5-6 articles for Ademola Adeleke. Because of my very good brother, younger brother, Davido. No, that is because I love them. You see, that's what I ordinarily, if I have to be their shoe, I would do same. But then just look at Atiku. You are vying for the number one job of this country. Your son is in the other. There, some person will have an argument. It's an adult. For me, I have my own reservation.
But it's a democracy.
That's why I'm saying I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that.
And these things have to do with conviction.
I'm not disputing that.
But you have a problem.
If your father, if you cannot, if your conviction cannot say it for your father, then for me, who else conviction? Can you? But for me, I have my.
But is it not double standard? Because in the US, for example, we see a man aligning with the Democrats, another one pitches tent with Republicans. I would say it's fine.
Not when we are saying man, you see, when we are talking, let's put it this way. Let's assume tomorrow Atiku emerge as the president. Will the son lock himself out of the bounty? When I say bounty, you understand? From the largesse
of office.
Let me be very sincere. Even if tomorrow I decide to stick my neck and get all the bass boosts, and when he eventually gets there, the son before me. You have a problem. You can't reap where you did not sow. If you cannot take hold, if you cannot coordinate your house, then I'm not talking about president here. I'm not talking about councillor or local government chairman. When I ran for local government, my community, my family, ordinarily they were very apolitical because of me and my father's name. They align. If you don't believe in the process, there's a problem. Your son, my brother, I'm not here to discuss about. Before now, I have a bet for me. I'm a PDP. I'm a PDP. You know, before now, we have canvassed and we have admonished and we have advised all opposition leaders. There's the need for them to form a formidable front. I'm a member of the G100. The need for them to form a... See, if they go the way they are going, I tell you, before noon on that election day, they're already doing Glenn.
With a big if. That's a conditional clause.
That's definitely, because the way the opposition's leaders are going now, perhaps they just want to have their portraits as a campaign. So for me, I'm not comfortable with it. Because if you see, we must learn from history. It was Cicero that once said, for a child not to know what happened before his death, it is to repeat the mistakes of the father, or perhaps to go the ways of the father. So that is. So they need to go back. But see, whether you like it or not, you can't take that from Jagaban. He's a political colossus. He's an enigma when it comes to politics and politicking. You saw what happened at the very beginning of APC. He discovered that, yes, the time is not ripe for me. Let me look for someone that have the political leverage or capital with street credibility. He brought in Buhari. Ordinarily, it is likened to, water and oil. It's not possible for them to mix together. Because of his own focus, he has a destination. He believes that I must be very concerned with the journey. For me to achieve that destination, the journey is very sacrosanct. He brought in Buhari. Buhari cleared the way. And when he says, well, Emiloko, it is my turn. I have done it for you, SYZ. It's now my turn. And indeed, even when there was, a gang up in the presidency against him, with the coloration of the Naira, still, he was able to meander and find his way in the presidency, which our brother Emefiele is paying the bitter price. So for me, we must give it to him. So they must look at him, whether you are a godfather or you've been in politics since 1962 or since 1992. If you know that Destiny will be able to gather the street credibility to give the opposition the desired success, as a leader, as a father, just stop you from saying, okay, yeah, my boy, I know you can do it. Come, I'm not in any way saying Atiku cannot gather the needed street credibility. But I'm just saying for posterity and for although there are no morality or the ideal thing in politics. That is the gospel truth.
No ethics.
No ethics in politics. So whatever, that's why you will say that anything is possible in politics.
When you look at our show now, which is, the immediate point of reference, what are you learning? What has been highlighted to you from the opposition point of things?
You see, one thing I have taken away from Osun, which is simple, it is for you to be able to connect with your people. And again, the celebrity question that you cannot discard.
So that was a factor in the selection.
It was a serious factor. I told you, for me, I had some persons ordinarily I have not met, up to about 6 or 7 from Osun, sending me informations. I'll show you my WhatsApp. Informations. Ordinarily. He said, I read your article. That was fantastic. That's why I got your number, because I only attached my number to my articles. Ordinarily, I have not met them. Because of Davido. Because all the songs in my house, they're all Davido. I love him because of his simplicity, his humility. Because that's my person. A guy that was going to wealth. It's like into our Lord Jesus Christ. You know that he was high there, but he was still with the ordinary people. He never equated himself to be God. Say, I'm the Son of God. Through me, you can see the Father. So for me, That's what endeared me to Ademola Adeleke. And I did. I can tell you that I'll be able to pull up to about, if I'm not mistaken, close to 100 votes for Adeleke. From Edo, from Abuja. So that is it. The issue of, you see, in the coming days, you will see these persons that want to vie for the number 1 seat, be now trying to be wooing celebrities to their own side. It's a factor, and it was a factor. And again, the man Ademola Adeleke has a very rooted connection with the ordinary people. Perhaps, you know, our people, see, again, our people don't need for bogus things. They just need the basics. From what I gather, that he was paying salaries as and when due, unlike the 2 governors before him. They pay halves and so to speak, paying pensions, arrears, and all of that. And again, his dancing skills. I will love him. You know the rural people. They don't need you to go and beat them castle. They don't need your shawarma. What they don't need that eba and a gushi. They don't need shawarma. It's because our politicians, they are living there. They've so disconnected themselves from the people. That's why they're finding it difficult. So, an Adeleke family is a family that you cannot just push away with it's not difficult. It's going to be that very, very, Herculean for you to just say it's going to be very difficult for you. Because I will discover that their father was a senator, even their brother or whether their elder brother or something, so to speak, was former governor in 1992 and all of that. And this president was former senator, and so they have a lineage of political inclination. And
so there's a history to their
There's a history.
We're going to take a break shortly, but let me ask you this: are you impressed with the outing that the opposition put up in Osun this last weekend?
To be very frank with you, yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, because at the very end, there was some defections and alignment and realignment with the accord. No, because it took them that far for them to realize. You see, when you know that your enemy has some very unimaginable potency, you prepare, because desperate time requires desperate measure. That is my point, and that's my message to Nigeria this morning. So for me, it was becoming too late. If not for the political potency of the government and governor in power, vis-a-vis the family, it will be very difficult. And again, President Tinubu is aware that is his own ancestral, take it or leave it, it's his own ancestral home. He cannot desecrate or dehumanize his people. I know Tinubu, he cannot do that. So he was very mild. I use the word, careful with federal mind. That's why I said that exonerate the president, but you can't take away the presidency. But you can't take away the presidency. It was deliberate. So he's aware. It's not with humility. It's not that. I wanted to use a word because it's not that man that doesn't know his home that want to throw stone in his house. It's not that kind of a person. He was very cautious. He was very meticulous. He was very diplomatic.
If it was another state, he
would have deployed.
Do you think he would have been?
No, he would have deployed. No, it would have liked him to. No, he would have deployed. So, having said that, all is fair in politics. You know what happened in Edo? Take it or leave it. PDP won that election overwhelmingly. I can tell you. I can stay before our Lord Jesus Christ to say it. I can stay before even the traditional lie to say it. He will say, if you say lie to kill you tomorrow, I will say it. So, you saw the way they commandeer, they stormed Oredo, Ego, and Ikpobaha. That's the local government collective. In the case of Edo. They commandeered them. So for me, if it were to be another state, it would have. So let me.
Do you think the victory of Adeleke and Accord Party in Osun makes it easier for opposition in 2027?
If they are thinking that way, they are daydreaming. They better get off from that nightmare.
No, it's not even a dream, it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. If they are thinking that way, it's a nightmare. They are daydreaming. They better get up. Better sit up. They must form a formidable front. I'm an opposition. I'm a PDP till tomorrow. I'm very proud of it. The dry bones shall rise again. I'm a PDP. And I'm not hungry. What I'm looking for is money for, well, it's between me and you. Maybe you will show me the way to.
Are members of the party taking your group of the PDP seriously? I mean, the Turaki-led side of things. Because it looks like everybody's talking about the Wike end.
You see, everybody talking about the Wike end, and you and I know why. So, Shomole, the former governor of Edo State, now a senator, says something that is a man that has a corn that the fowl or the hen or the cock will go after. In politics. So there are some persons, majority, they are in that category that believes on what can I get. That is it. So majority of us, I don't want to say leaders, us, the electorate, they are not particular party members this time. They are not bothered about winning in election. It's what they can get from that electionary process. When I say what they can get, their pocket. They are not necessarily on whether the candidate or the party wins. The majority, to be very frank. So those that find themselves in my elder brother, the Yendeba of Abuja, they belong to that category. That is the gospel truth. Stomach infrastructure. Anywhere belief is. Like politicians. For some of us that still remain PDP are the people that believe in the tenet, in letter of PDP. I said many.
All right. We're taking a break at this point, everyone. We'll come back shortly, and when we return, we'll be looking at the issues that have now been flagged by observers from the United Kingdom during this last election in Osun. One of them, they say, is the beavers. The other, they also talked about accessibility issue. And the third is vote buying, which has become a monster in our electoral process in this country. Do stay with us. By some assessment, will be referred to as a country that practices money bag democracy. Apparently, that's a bad tag. But Osun election just 3 days ago has once again highlighted that very dreadful phenomenon. I'd like us to talk about it because by Saturday morning, newspapers, at least a handful of them, had talked about how that there had been a 20,000 naira, if you like, transaction between Accord and the APC. Some people even said, even though Skyline News has not authoritatively or independently verified that look, at a point they had raised it to as high as 30,000 to 40,000. So I jokingly asked a guest, was it a competition with the minimum wage? But again, my real question is, how do we address this issue of vote buying?
Mr. Oyi, I think you're missing it, or perhaps your informant wasn't accurate.
Well, because I was not part of the process.
They pay up to 50,000 naira a vote.
Okay.
Especially
in this instant case.
Yes, they pay up to 50,000 naira, but not with the opposition, but with the main party. At time I asked, was CBN now in Osun? They were all brand new.
Oh, this was done in cash.
Brand new. I have some videos. Brand new. So for us, and they were not calling it vote trading.
Not buying.
Oh. So you can see we are gradually.
Sounds like the stock exchange.
Yeah, we are now metamorphosing, and we are climbing the ladder
For all the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reasons. You see, you can see that's got to show the level of desperation and the failure in the system. You see, over time, we weaponize poverty. You see, when the people are hungry and you dangle 5 kg, many will run after it. That's exactly what is happening. See, if you want to dehumanize a man, starve him of food. You saw the policy the Nigerian deployed between the Nigerian and the Civil War. They said it was sold by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the late sage of blessed memory. That he said, you cannot feed your enemy. And they denied them of
access to food
and
essentials.
And all of that. There was a kwashoko.
So at that point, you didn't even have to fight.
You didn't have to fight. They can even go begging even for your urine.
So nature will do its work.
Nature will do its course. So they are aware. That's why some of us are not comfortable with these ruiners in Abuja. This ruination must stop. We are not comfortable. As we speak in this country, there are no middle class. It's either you are rich or you are poor. A nation where inflation is about 30%.
But we
about 140 in neck deep in poverty.
But we understand that the figure now stands at in the neighborhood of 15%.
I'm not saying it.
That's according to the NBS. So you probably can look it up on their website.
I will.
They have that data there.
You see, again, we have a problem of data. We have a problem.
When you say problem of data, is it access to it or authenticity of it? Or credibility of it?
Both. Credibility, access to it, authenticity. When last did we conduct a census in this country?
20 years ago.
So, who is telling us that we are about how many millions?
But they said
where they get the figures
from?
They
said they're extrapolating based on the last census, even though there is urgent needs for another.
How did they arrive at that extrapolation? That is, see, for me, if we're to be a nation where all connects, if we're to be a United Kingdom or US where you have all the indices, every sector working, and data are connecting, I will say okay. But you and I know, in the rural, like in Gobazowa, where I hail from, the general hospital there don't even work. It was when I was a local government chairman that I gave them borehole. So in this section, there was nothing like borehole. There was nothing like water. At the time when they had this general water supply, this what they call them, water board. But you and I know, since I was in kindergarten, I think I was in primary 5 or thereabout when the water stopped.
That's in your village.
In my village, that's when I gave them.
I guess it was still running in Benin City at that time.
No, okay, I guess
city center.
I guess yes. Right. In my grandfather's house in Siloko Road, yes, same. You are right. But you and I know, majority of all of our rurals
had been cut off.
So for me, when you are talking about census or talking about numbers, how do you arrive at it? People in Gobazowa, where I is from, how is there a central where the people go to give birth and they immediately, electronically send it to the central coordinating? None. Where there you have the traditional bed attendants, the TBS,
and they are not captured.
The TBA, they are not captured. And then the death. Do you have records of the death? Do we? Ask me, Mr. Oyi. I don't know.
Well, for those who
with this
for those who are diseased in hospitals, I'm sure we have those.
For those, how many of us in hospitals? Those are the bourgeois. For people like us, rest in peace quietly. Accident, Boko Haram, terrorists, and whatever.
But these are factors.
Accidents.
These are phenomena that affect everybody across board. We're seeing those cases real time. I mean, evidence about.
What the point I'm saying? How do you not aggregate it? That's the point. To be able to say, okay, so year or so time or this quarter, these people exited and this set up.
And make the information scientific.
Beautiful. That's my point.
I want us to talk about your G100. I mean, you are a part of it, no matter the level at which you're playing. I mean, you're a part of it. You are interested in it. You believe in it. I mean, like you said a while ago, if all else is equal, if the right thing is done, if the stakeholders are committed to the process, a lot can change by 2027. But again, there are people who think this is just another wild goose chase, isn't it?
You see, there's a saying that the taste of the pudding is in the eating.
That's when the pudding has been cooked.
Oh yeah. I will take you on that, or not now. You see, what we are doing, we are just concerned.
Okay.
It's not because we are in a political purgatory. No. We are concerned. I'm a father. I'm a son to a mother. I still have mother, about 70-something years old. I have sisters, though I have some that are in abroad. You see, there's a saying that when a single person is rich in a community, he's still poor.
The entire community is still poor.
He's still poor. It's likened to a dwarf competing which one is taller. I'm a dwarf, you are a dwarf. I say, well, it's still a dwarf. That's my problem. You and I know as we speak, just as put it by, let me re-echo again, Professor Patrick's, that we're in a funeral and we must learn to speak the language of a funeral in funeral. That's why we are out. To let our leaders in the opposition, perhaps they've forgotten, to reawaken their consciousness, drawing the APC formation vis-a-vis the Jagaban, and letting them know the reality. That look, it's a stark reality. This one we are speaking wedding language in funeral is an aberration. That's what we have to do. We're not going to compare. We don't have such power to commandeer, according to my grandmother, anybody. We'll sell the idea to them. We'll let them know, we'll expose them. Because on our own, we have done how will I put it? A research assessment in terms of candidate popularity. Because on our own, try to sample citizens.
Are you doing that based on polls? Are you using polls?
Oh, polls. We are using polls.
Public polls.
But yes, we are reaching out. We expose them to it. It's not as if we just sat down and we try to fabricate. This is the reality on ground. And again, very soon, from tomorrow, they will be engaging the streets. It will be done on them. That what this G100 are telling us. My brother, I enter keke in this Abuja. Even when I'm in Benin, I'll call my wife. If you want to come, I'll put on this. I'll call my wife. At times I will leave my house, enter keke, just to sample people's opinion. There was a day one guy saw me, say, Chairman, what are you doing here? I said, what do you do here? He said, are you not a human being? He said, no. And I pay for everybody. That's me. The reality it is revealing. So the opposition leaders, if indeed they are sincere with us, with Nigerians, they must do everything humanly, politically, economically, security-wise possible to form a formidable front. That is our message. Form a formidable. We are not saying this step for this. If you know that you can bring in your political capital to support a man that you believe that doesn't have street credibility, because you have street credibility, you have the political capital, well and good. If you believe that, okay, the man that has the street credibility, but you have the political capital to support the man that has the, well and good. We are not. But
there has to be a consensus.
There has to be a consensus. If the way they are going, if they should embrace and romance the coming election like this, I tell you, by 12 noon, they already do it at 35 years Glen in Asoro.
Well, politicians on 12 noon on election day, they are like CMS twins. But I'd like to say a big thank you to you.
Always my pleasure.
For always coming to share all of this.
Always my pleasure, my brother.
Here on the program. I'll be talking to Destiny Enabolele, the former council chairman of your Southwest.
Leave the council chairman. I'm just Destiny Enabolele.
Government in Edo State, and he also had his own stint at the House of Assembly, still in Edo State. We're taking a quick break. When we return, we'll wrap up the program for you. It's still the morning call here on Skyline News.
Watch Skyline News on MyComsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more
an amazing outing here on the morning call. Today, we'd like to say a big thank you to you for being a part of it. I'm Uyi Agumofwebe.
And I'm Marino Haniel. Thank you for staying with us and do have a very fruitful day.
visit